Again, Reuters reporting that Israel is saying no to this ceasefire, asking for those modifications. What more do you know about that?
Well, we just spoke with Israel's intelligence minister, Yuval Steinitz. I had interviewed him about an hour or so ago, and at that time he told me a ceasefire, in his words, doesn't seem close. Doesn't seem close. Since then, in the last few minutes, we got this word from Yuval Steinitz, one of the top ministers in Israel. Cabinet and Prime Minister Netanyahu's cabinet. He tells us now that the Israeli cabinet, meeting in Tel Aviv at the Defense Ministry, an emergency session, has just unanimously rejected the proposal for a ceasefire. That's the cabinet at large of Israel, meaning the entire cabinet of Israel has rejected the proposal put forward by Secretary Kerry, by the UN Secretary General Ban Ki-moon, for this first phase of a humanitarian week-long ceasefire, followed by negotiations leading to a more permanent truce. Israel does not like this current proposal. They are opening it up for modifications. They want clarifications. But the proposal that was put forward by Secretary Kerry to the Israeli cabinet has been unanimously rejected by Israel during these emergency meetings in Tel Aviv. Now, the cabinet is getting to resume their meetings, even though it's the start of the Jewish Sabbath here in this part of the world. It's already sundown, but they're getting ready to meet again. They want clarifications, they want modifications, but the proposal that was put forward has been unanimously rejected. That word we're getting from one of Israel's cabinet ministers, Yuval Steinitz, the Minister of Intelligence, who earlier had told us a ceasefire doesn't seem close. Now it doesn't seem close at all. Brooke?
Wolf, I have a follow-up for you, but first let me just pivot to Gaza City. Carl, to you, as you've been reporting on these protests and also, of course, on the deaths at that shelter. I know investigators were at the school again today. Tell me more about what you know there.
Well, it's incidents like that, really, that is going to make this kind of a ceasefire really a very hard sell. You would think that an incident like that, school incident, would be enough to knock the heads of the warring sides together and say enough is enough. Civilians are paying too high a price. But on the one hand, Hamas is feeling emboldened by the way that it has taken the fight to Israeli troops in the time that this ground invasion has been going on. And so Hamas is kind of asking itself as well, I would guess, what is in a ceasefire for us? Yes, possibly a lull in fighting for now so that it could reposition its troops ready to carry on this urban guerrilla warfare against Israeli troops. But otherwise, you know, it's very difficult to see how they would agree to cease their fire right now when they believe they're having a pretty good campaign against the Israelis. Now, of course, as well, the investigations going on about what did happen yesterday at the United Nations school, and not very good news on that front either. UN investigators went to the school today to try and get in to carry out a preliminary look over the scene of the incident, and there was heavy fighting going on in that area. And the UN investigators had to pull back. They got nothing done. That is going to be one of the problems. This school is in the combat zone. Nobody has custody of the scene of the crime now. Very difficult to see how they can investigate. But, of course, the Israeli military is still investigating for its part. They do say that yesterday there was fierce combat with Hamas militants there, that they did fire at them in an area around the school, but they are stopping short of claiming responsibility for that attack. So far, they do say that perhaps it was a misfire from a Hamas rocket. Hamas severely denying that, and certainly when we went to the scene, we certainly saw no rocket debris there. But it is certainly an incident that has to be investigated. It can't just disappear in the fog of war, Brooke.
Wolf, just following up with you, as you're reporting that the Israeli cabinet unanimously rejected this ceasefire proposal, this humanitarian one-week-long proposal, there always, of course, are starting points in any agreement. We know there have to be multiple iterations of any kind of proposal. You were there in 2012. How many proposals, how long might this take to agree?
Well, last week, the Israelis immediately to the Egyptian proposal. Hamas rejected that initial Egyptian proposal. This one has modifications, has conditions attached to it that that Hamas apparently is more inclined to like because of Qatar's role. The Israelis don't trust Qatar at all because of its close relationship with Hamas. They don't like this, they say, because they see this proposal that was put forward to them as sort of rewarding Hamas for launching more than 2,000 or so rockets and missiles into Israel. They're not happy with this. They're making a statement that they're rejecting it for now. They're leaving open the possibility if there are modifications in the next few hours, they may reconsider. But right now, Israel has rejected unanimously this latest proposal. It's a major setback for Secretary of State John Kerry. He's getting ready to make some sort of statement in Cairo. I think he was getting ready to fly out of Cairo, probably back to either Paris or the United States. But this represents a significant setback in his efforts. He was here in Israel. He went to Ramallah to meet with the Palestinian Authority leader Mahmoud Abbas. He's been meeting with the Egyptians, meeting with others, trying to get some momentum for a ceasefire. This current effort, at least for now, could be revived down the road, maybe in hours, maybe in days. But the current effort clearly has failed with Israel's cabinet decision to reject the proposal.
We will be standing by to